We are not slaves. Yes. We are citizens. We are not slaves. Yes. And we will continue to let them know that indeed we are citizens. We are not slaves. Wherever we stand in this country, we stand as the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Absolutely. We are not to be intimidated. Absolutely. You walk around here, you see policemen and women with their guns.
When the DSS announced their presence on Twitter in 2022 preceding to the general election, there was a complete breakdown of euphoria. Many, especially supporters of Buhari and Tinubu, saw it as an avenue to gag opposition who constantly call out Buhari and Tinubu. There was constant talk of the DSS handle to tweets that seems offensive to this lot. To them, the DSS is an errand dog used to gag the citizens from airing their mind. That euphoria died down as many didn't give a cent to the presence of the DSS on social media. Where, of a truth, just as many institutions in Nigeria, the Department of State Security Service, also known as the State Security Service, has been used as an errand dog. We won't forget the case where the DSS was called to brutalize a debtor in Abuja. Aisha Yesufu, a popular activist who was a pioneer of the Bring Back Our Girls during Goodluck Jonathan regime, she supported Buhari and did not shy away from constantly calling out Buhari's ineffective government. She was also in the front line for the NSAS protests. She threw her weight behind P2B and supported his campaign. With the outcome of the presidential election and the way and manner the judiciary handled the case, coupled with Tinubu drug case and certificate forgery saga, Aisha Yesufu has constantly reminded Nigeria that Tinubu is an illegitimate president. She said Nigeria does not have a president, citing Tinubu's tweet in 2014, where he said Nigeria does not have a president, owing to what Tinubu perceived as ineffective leadership from Goodluck Jonathan. If we are to put everything in perspective, ranging from insecurity, inflation, high cost of living, then borrowing from Tinubu's words in 2014, Nigeria indeed does not have a president. The current president is even in France, while school children were kidnapped and monarchs killed in Ekiti. As with the APC supporters calling the DSS on tweets made by Nigerians, Kemi, a blogger, has taken to social media to warn Aisha Yesufu to leave the country, as the Department of State Security Services are currently discussing her issue as an arrest warrant has been issued. That is pathetic, to say the least. Arrest the citizens for airing her legitimate views, same way Tinubu did air his view in 2014. And what is this nonsense of constantly calling the State Security Service whenever someone held their view? What is even the role of the DSS in Nigeria? The State Security Service, also known as the Department of State Service, is the primary domestic intelligence agency of Nigeria. It is a primary responsibility for intelligence gathering within the country. They act, dictate, and prevent crime and threats against Nigeria. But you and I know that they are falling short of this responsibility. That is why citizens are constantly tagging them to arrest critics on social media. just as the case of when the DSS was called to brutalize a debtor in Abuja. During the President Muhammadu Buhari regime, news filtered that the DSS despised doctors attending a recruitment for those intending to migrate to Saudi Arabia. The State Department denied this report. Whether they scattered the event or not, it's not out of place to link them with that kind of errand. Nobody in Nigeria today associates the DSS with intelligence gathering, stealth and efficient operation, and the promotion of national security. They are only famous for pursuing the civilians who overreach themselves by protesting Nigerians' woes. Nigeria has never been more threatened by insecurity than now. And you cannot but wonder what these so-called intelligence security agencies really do that justify their existence. The DSS has just only one job, and it seems is to protect the president from the shame of his many failings. If they were not a bureaucracy, we would call them political toss. Out of the many heartbreaking stories of breakdown of security in Nigeria, let me share this one with you. This was shared by Abubakar Hassan, the head teacher of Salihu Tanko Ismaila School in Tangina, Niger State, where 136 school children were kidnapped. He said that he spoke to their adopters. They told him that 5 of the children were already dead, many were seriously ill, and because their clothes have become virtually rags, their parents should send change of clothes. The part that broke him completely was that some of these children as young as 4 years. What kind of country watches babies languish in their adopters' den? Unfortunately, this kind of stories has become a recurrent decimal in Nigeria today. Meanwhile, Hassan also noted that he has spoken to the adopters twice in 3 days. They had demanded 200 million, but the parents could only raise 20 million even after the families had solicited funds from the public. The adopters did not budge their demands. An elderly man that was sent to deliver the ransom was reportedly kidnapped. In all of these back and forth negotiations with kidnappers and even public fundraising for ransom, notice that there is no mention of the involvement of the organization like the DSS. How do these adopters call the teacher on the phone several times and there was no reported official effort to track their locations? Where do these kidnappers stash away the homogeneous sums they receive as ransom? In a country that supposedly registers everyone's SIM card, why have the security agencies not availed themselves of the many surveillance tools of digital technology to find those children? They can find you if you abuse a politician on WhatsApp, but kidnappers that use cell phones somehow elude them. Elsewhere, security agencies train personnel to negotiate with hostage takers, but these poor families have had to transact with their victimizers all by themselves. Imagine the many layers of trauma they must suffer. In all this, the effort of the security agencies that supposedly gathered intelligence for their national security purposes are glaringly missing. What role do these agencies play in these frequent adoptions plaguing Nigerians? And no, their silence on this issue does not mean they have been entirely passive. Here are some of the headlines of the report of their activities. DSS violate court order on Igboho's aid. DSS finally comply with court order. DSS denies detaining and torturing Buhari's late driver. DSS caution against violence and hate speech. DSS reiterate call against violence in Nigeria. DSS pledge to support protection of NNPC assets. DSS warns public against recruitment fraudsters. DSS denies arresting, detaining INEC staff. DSS says maleficent allegations aim at creating tension. DSS says there is plan to incite religious violence across the country. DSS says some prominent persons plotting to destabilize the country. DSS uncovers plot to destabilize Nigeria. Why DSS invited Onuma for wearing Biafra t-shirt. These and many more are the insanity that has engaged the Department of State Security Services, having wired their entire administrative impulses towards protecting the president from dissidents. They frequently sacrifice administrative dignity to back at every rat. Their lack of administrative focus has grown so acute, they even usurp the role of the police, as is happened in the case of the Dunamis 5. These agencies are never linked to heroic retrieval of adopted victims or the effective management of the security threat that diminish the Nigerian life. You will never catch them protecting the life and dignity of regular Nigerians. All they do is hunt those who make their paymasters uncomfortable. The time is still coming when the DSS officials will take it upon themselves to regulate the price of fish in the market. Rather than discussing about Aisha Yesufu and her comment on social media, they should focus on blaming themselves for failing on their responsibility. Better still, they should provide intels on those innocent Nigerians that were kidnapped while traveling on the Kogi road. People are being kidnapped on daily basis in this country, Nigeria, and all the DSS care about is to discuss about a mere comment on social media. What a shame. Thank you for watching. Do well to subscribe, drop your comment reaction in the comment section, like and share this video.